Police department.
Yes, ma'am. My daughter is Lisa.
Danielle dropped her kids off, and then she vanished.
I've been her sister for 29 years. I've never been closer to anybody but her. She's not gonna leave her kids.
Her wrecked car was found abandoned. Her phone broken.
We're trying to find Danny. Do you have any idea?
She left at 3 o'clock and I ain't seen her since.
And nobody knew where she'd gone. Detectives followed every lead they had. To a man with a shaky alibi. To a man desperately looking for a change of clothes.
Did she leave and come back the new road? She didn't come back. Anybody with her?
The case took wild turns. Mind-boggling interviews, shady deals, even surveillance video from a remote construction site.
When we got up there to the area, I called her. I said, look, do you want me to come to your house? And she said, no, meet me on the next street over by.
But it wasn't until a witness remembered one chilling detail that everything finally started to unravel.
While taking her home, the female provided us additional information that she forgot to tell that she felt like it was important.
This is the case that nearly went cold, until it didn't. Welcome back to the channel, where real crimes are broken down piece by piece. No fluff, just facts. Every week we peel back the layers of the most haunting cases you've never heard in full. And today, we're diving into the chilling murder of Danielle Pruett. One that unraveled through GPS data, discarded clothes, and a killer hiding in plain sight. Don't just watch, share this video, comment her name, let's keep her voice alive, because the more people know her story, the harder it is for it to be forgotten. On March 17, 2016, Danielle Pruett dropped off her 3 kids at her mom Charlene's house. She had plans to pick them up later for baseball practice, but she never showed up. At first, the family tried not to panic. Maybe she got delayed, but time kept slipping by, and there was no word from Danielle. No calls, no messages. She tried calling, over and over, but Danielle's phone just rang. She never ignored her kids, never stayed out of reach like this. The silence didn't sit right. Nikki waited. Charlene waited. The kids waited. But Danielle never came back. They couldn't wait any longer. Charlene picked up the phone and dialed 911.
Police department.
Yes, ma'am. My daughter is Lisa, and I was maybe if she was getting out of breath or what was going on. We can't find her, and kids are having a fit.
Okay, honey.
Trying to find Danielle Pruett.
Danielle?
Yes, ma'am.
Charlene said her daughter's name out loud, like maybe that would somehow bring her back. Then came more questions, basic ones. But Charlene didn't have the answers.
Okay, do you know what she was wearing?
No, ma'am, I don't. I haven't seen her today.
Okay, and when was the last time you saw her?
I think she left the house somewhere around 3, maybe 3:30.
And you didn't actually see her?
No, ma'am.
Okay, but her children did?
Yeah. I'm just a little bit nervous still. They switched at ball practice and they can't find their mom.
That was the last known moment anyone could place her. Charlene told them why they were worried. Deep down, she knew something was very wrong. When the detective arrived, both Charlene and Nikki wasted no time. Danielle wasn't careless. She can't be as a single mom. She wasn't the type to vanish without a word, especially not when it came to her kids. Nikki explained how her day started off normal, until it wasn't.
What's she been doing today? Have y'all seen her at all?
I've not seen her at all. I had to work. I was supposed to be off. I was supposed to be off work today.
Okay.
My boss called me in and asked me could I work, and I needed the money. So I called my sister and I asked. Well, she wasn't answering her phone, so I kept calling. Called Chris. Chris said she was asleep.
So, man.
So I told him that I needed him to get her up. It was almost 2 o'clock. I was mad that she was asleep. I said she was lazy.
She tried calling Danielle, but got nothing. So she called Chris, Danielle's ex and the father of her children, who was now her roommate. But that wasn't the part that made the detective stop and listen. Charlene and Nikki shared something else, something they hadn't told the police until now. It was a suspicious phone call.
I guess she got up in, and Savannah, a girl who lives with my sister, who's staying with my sister, whatever, said she heard Danny on the phone, and Danny said, "Meet me on the next street over."
According to Savannah, she had overheard a short phone call Danielle had made before she left the house. Danielle had said she was going to meet someone on the next street over. She walked out soon after. That was the last time anyone saw her.
Come up, man.
Okay, well, I'm coming too. I am her mother.
Okay. Put on some shoes too. Y'all too, okay?
The detective could see it. Their worry wasn't just panic. It came from knowing her. Nikki and Danielle were twins. She knew without a doubt Danielle would never just disappear, not unless something had gone terribly wrong.
I know my sister.
Identical twins.
I have been her sister for 29 years. I've never been closer to anybody but her. She's not gonna leave her kids. It's not adding up.
We'll go over here to the house and I'll talk to them.
Charlene stood by her. They wanted to help. They just didn't know how. The responding officer actually knew Nikki and Danielle. They all went to the same school. He reassured them and promised to check on Danielle's house.
Can you please? I'll probably be bugging y'all, and I don't mean to, but
Y'all can bug it.
this is my twin sister, man.
This is my daughter. I'll go over there and see if they know anything else. But I'll give you a call back, all right?
All right, thanks.
The next stop was Danielle's home. She lived there with Chris and Savannah. The officer knew that sometimes people weren't missing. They were just off the grid for a while. But this time felt different. When the officer arrived at Danielle's residence, Chris was the only one home, and he didn't seem eager to talk.
Hey, man. Can we come in for a minute? I want to holler at you. Where's the chick at? Savannah?
Not here. I ain't no boys that left.
Okay.
The officer tried to keep things calm, but Chris wasn't making it easy. His behavior was off, and he made no move to invite them in.
He was very irate. He wasn't happy I was there. He was short-tempered, one-word answers. I asked him if I could step in the house to speak to him further. He said no, I couldn't come in the house.
The officer tried to press a little, just to get some traction. That left only Chris, and he wasn't giving much. So the officer pushed further, asking about the last time he saw Danielle.
We're trying to find Danny. Do you have any idea?
She left at 3 o'clock and I ain't seen her since.
3 o'clock? Where'd she go to? You have any idea?
Don't have no clue.
His tone wasn't worried. It was sharp, closed off, like he just wanted it all to be over. The officer started to wonder if there was more to Chris than he was letting on.
Did you have an ID on you, man?
What do you need my ID for?
I'll run you to see if you got any warrants on you, man.
I'm coming up here to ask questions and now you're going to interrogate me.
I'm not interrogating you.
Chris got irritated. He came out to help, not to be interrogated. Chris handed over his ID, but made it clear he was angry about the situation, about the questions, about being treated like a suspect.
Can you get it out for me?
Can you not just call that in?
Can you get it out for me?
I'm already aggravated enough because I've been trying to find her. I don't want to have no problems right now, so here, just take my number and stuff.
Why are you being an ass?
Because I'm pissed off at what the situation is.
Well, how you pissed off at me? I'm trying to find her. Baby, I'll be right back, all right?
The officer ran his name, just in case. Nothing came back. No warrants, no red flags, and still no Danielle.
He was very not forthcoming with the stuff I wanted, just to ask him. I wasn't trying to pin anything on him. I was trying to find her. I don't know if she could be in the house or, or he'd just be holding her there. At that point, I figured that we needed to go back at the house at some point to see what's going on, if there's any evidence, or if there was actually Miss Pruett, Savannah, or anybody else in the house.
The next day, officers returned to Danielle's house, this time with a search warrant.
Hold the stairs, Travis. Or no, hold the stairs. Jarvis, hold the stairs.
I'll hold. You go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got y'all.
They went room to room, every drawer, every corner. Nothing turned up. No trace of Danielle. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Danielle was gone. And now Savannah had vanished too. No one had heard from her since yesterday.
When we got the warrant on the house and we responded, the SWAT team, which I was a part of at that point, went inside the house and cleared it, just hoping to find Danny or Savannah or any other evidence that might lead to finding Miss Pruett at that time.
Deputies had tried calling her over and over, but there was nothing. No answers, no trace. Could something have happened to her too? And then, just like that, Chris disappeared. The same Chris who had been living with Danielle. The same Chris who knew both girls. Now, he was missing too. Was he hiding, or was he running? Inside the house, everything looked untouched. No blood, no mess, no signs of a fight.
We didn't actually know where to go to at that point. There was no bleeds or evidence there that we seen right off at that time that could lead to her.
But with no clues to work with, the case was starting to stall. The pressure was building. They had to find Chris fast. And then, out of nowhere, the phone rang. It was Chris. He'd called Danielle's family. He said he found her car.
13 to 14. Go ahead. Hey, I just talked to this, her sister. The blue car is at Graham Rec Park. You head there? I'm heading there now.
He said her car was just sitting at an auto body shop in Grant Park. Officers rushed over right away, but by the time they got there, Chris and Danielle's family were already on the scene. They'd gotten there first. The vehicle was there. It was hers. But it wasn't just sitting pretty. It was a mess.
This is the missing person, which I told him not to touch it.
Y'all step back from the car, guys, please. Yeah, just step back.
The guy in the hoodie, he popped the trunk just because he seen all the blood here.
Blood was smeared along the back bumper. There was blood inside too, enough to know something awful had happened.
Just because he seen all the blood here.
Okay. Did you look in something?
The officers looked into the trunk, checked every inch. It was bad. They moved carefully, checking again and again for any sign of her. But Danielle wasn't there. No body, no note, just the blood. What was once her car had turned into a crime scene, and for her family, waiting for anything, it was like the bottom dropped out. They had hoped the car would bring answers. Instead, it brought fear.
Honestly, I was kind of hopeful that we would find her in there in time, but she wasn't. And her car had been wrecked, and there was blood on the back bumper. So that was even more clarification something was wrong.
As word spread about Danielle's car being found, the scene outside the auto body shop began to fill with more people. Among them was Savannah. Her sudden appearance didn't go unnoticed. Savannah had seen Danielle last. She might have known more than anyone else. But apart from everything else, they wanted to know more about the phone call. She looked rattled, shaky hands, nervous voice, but she started talking.
I'm hearing her on the phone walking around the house, and I heard her say, "Meet me on the next street over." That's the last time I've heard something.
And what she said next changed the whole direction of the case. Savannah began explaining what Danielle had been facing before she vanished.
Right before she came to me, she was like, "Savannah, she was like, I only got $400 now, so she had to pay $600 for her kid's baseball." So I'm thinking that I guess cleats. She got 3 kids. Cleats and baseball and things back. I don't know. She got it my city. And she only had $400 in her pocket.
It wasn't just about being a mom to 3 kids. It was about survival. Bills piling up, kids needing shoes and bats for baseball. Danielle had been desperate. She'd scraped together what she could, but it hadn't been enough. She had $400 and needed $600. She was short, so she made a choice, and a dangerous one. Danielle had been selling drugs.
Savannah was able to relate to us that Danielle was selling drugs so that she could provide a better life for her kids. Danielle was a single mother. She was struggling and was really just trying to get by.
This revelation was a shock, not just for the officers, but for Danielle's loved ones nearby.
Yeah.
I could give two. So she's sitting on 5 pounds of heroin right now. We need to make sure she's okay.
She's not a bad person. She don't go to no club. She don't argue with nobody.
Hey, all I'm interested in right now is finding her.
But it's so crazy because from that street to here, like, what happened? I heard about the back of the car.
Danielle was just a single mom doing what she had to do to provide. But now, that hustle had put her in danger. Savannah also let them in on another detail, one that made everyone tense.
Can I also add something? Even after, she came up missing, we rode this street, and I never seen her car right there.
She swore there was no car there. That meant either someone had moved it after she passed by, or someone had been hiding it. This detail shifted the focus back to Chris. The officer already had a bad feeling. Chris was the one who claimed he found the car, but that didn't sit right. Chris might have been involved. No one could prove anything yet, but everything was pointing to something deeper. By now, every sign pointed to Chris. He had lived with Danielle. He had seen her last. He had found the car, and the car had blood all over it.
It was actually Chris who found the car. It flew up a red flag to me because of the earlier dealings I had with him at her house. Then also, early in the night, I drove by that same place. I never did see the car. And it made me wonder, could he be involved in this case?
The detectives didn't waste any time. They brought him in for questioning.
All right, Chris, I know you know why we want to talk to you, right? You know why we're talking to you. Okay. All right, can you tell me about Thursday?
What started as a calm conversation quickly turned into something else. Chris acted like he didn't understand why he was there, but the officers made it clear. They needed answers, not guesses, not attitude.
All right, can you tell me about Thursday? Which is the day that she went missing.
Her sister called, so I woke her up and put her on speakerphone so they could talk.
He said he woke up to a call from her sister, put it on speaker, let Danielle talk. That explanation on the surface seemed simple, but the deeper the detectives pushed, the more the cracks started showing.
What happened after that?
She finally woke up. She made a few phone calls. The last thing she said to him is, I got to run out for a minute and I'll be back.
That was the last time he saw her. Only nothing about his tone or delivery gave them confidence.
Now, did she leave and come back and then go?
She didn't come back to the house. Not one time.
Anybody go with her?
Then came the part no one could ignore, Chris's story about discovering her car.
Next morning, I called Jess.
Who is she?
A girl that I've been messing with. She thought that she seen the car parked down there and she was driving that.
So she said she thought she seen Danielle's car on her way through to your house, right?
Mm-hmm. When she got there, at first I didn't believe her. I got my stuff on, got dressed, and I was like, well, let's go. And so we took it.
Mm-hmm. The car there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what'd you do then when you went over to the car?
Looked in the windows. I seen the trunk had a dent in it. I tried kicking the trunk open without touching it because I wanted to make sure she wasn't in it.
He told the officers he found it near the auto shop and opened the trunk to make sure Danielle wasn't in it. But the way he told it, off. Defensive, irritated, like he was the one being wronged. This is where the room began to heat up. Detectives felt it.
There's a link here, and then the car automatically turns up not far away from home. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions that we're trying to figure out. I pressed some details that was inconsistency of the investigation. He started getting really agitated and started yelling back towards me. And I explained to him, we have to know of what happened because you may be the last point of contact of us finding her.
He got snappy. accused them of turning cooperation into interrogation.
And now I'm feeling like this has turned in from cooperation to interrogation, and I'm getting fairly aggravated.
Well, I hate it for you, my friend, because you got a lot of cloudy issues that I need to talk to you. You're not clearing anything
I
else.
found the car. I popped the trunk to make sure she wasn't in it.
But the detective had reason to press, because when he opened that trunk, he said he saw blood. He didn't react with fear or panic in the retelling, just irritation, and that rubbed everyone the wrong way.
Seen blood on the back of it.
I'm not saying anything bad about that, but you come up with the attitude, don't come and give me attitude. I'm trying to get the answers here that we need to know.
This has been so trying on my mind. You don't understand. It's really broke my mind. I can barely function because all I think about is this.
But his words didn't match his body, or his tone. The car showed up in a place where neither Savannah nor a detective had seen it just hours before. And Chris, he was the one who found it, again, conveniently. His story wasn't holding, and now his reactions were only making it worse. Still, there was no proof, no weapon, no witness, no Danielle. So after hours of circling him with questions, the detectives had to let him go, but not because they believed him, only because they couldn't prove what they already suspected. Chris wasn't just part of the story now, he was the center of it. Everything had been stalling, until now. But then something happened. Detectives knocked on the door of a man whose name had barely surfaced before. But when they found Danielle's phone in his possession, everything changed. Just like that, he was no longer background noise. He was center stage. Officers brought him straight to the station. Now, they needed answers.
Maybe a seat right there. Tell us about that stuff on what you found.
Not far from town, he stumbled across something odd near a bridge. It was a phone.
Just got off work. I came down exit 5 right there at Tasman Motel. And down, came across the phone, was on the bridge.
Came across the phone at?
Right there at the storage buildings. It was right there on the little bridge right there. It was laying right there face down. And I stopped, told my old lady, there's a phone out there, so I went back there and picked it up.
It was cracked, damaged, looked like it had been there a while.
The phone still worked, so the screen wouldn't work, so it was busted. So I took it to the house, I had a pair of headphones that you can answer phone calls with. I put those in, answered the phone calls, so I get the phone back to the people.
You answered phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's when he realized it belonged to someone who was missing, Danielle.
And I got a hold of her mom, her sister. They said, where's Danielle at? Whoever it belongs to.
When he reached out to Danielle's family, offering to return the phone, they didn't hesitate. They called the cops right away. But surprisingly, he didn't run or hide. He actually volunteered for the interview on his own, ready to help however he could. After a quick look into his story, detectives were able to clear him. He had nothing to do with Danielle's disappearance. Danielle's car had already been discovered, wrecked and bloodied at an auto body shop. Now her phone turned up shattered, tossed near a bridge, like it meant nothing. That was the moment everything shifted. This wasn't just a missing person case anymore. Detectives began thinking differently. Instead of searching for a girl who vanished, they were now looking for a body. Officers started combing through remote fields and overgrown stretches of land, close to where her car was found.
As we turned the corner, we saw what appeared to be a brown blanket covering something.
Then on March 18th, 2016, in a quiet patch of woods, the worst finally revealed itself. The search came to a standstill. Underneath the brown blanket were human remains. And it was unmistakably female, a foot with pink painted toes. All tattoos matched her description. It was her.
I see the head right there. Pick the tortoise hand up.
There's the foot right there. Yeah, she got pink toenail polish on.
All right, back out. Everybody back out. Yep. Gotcha.
The moment they confirmed it was Danielle, everyone stepped back. Danielle was gone.
When I peeled back the blanket and saw that we had a human body here, we started seeing tattoos. And the one tattoo of the flower on her upper body, her family said that was the newest tattoo that she had. And once we saw that, we knew that the victim was Danielle.
What they found was worse than any of them had braced for. Her injuries told a horrific story. Her face beaten, swollen. Her jaw twisted, clearly broken. Both of her eyes were bruised, shut tight. Her hair soaked in blood and tangled with leaves. She had been dragged, left, dumped.
It was obvious that she had died in a violent way. Her hair was saturated with blood and leaves and sticks from where she was dragged to the scene. Her jaw was askew from being broken, and both of her eyes were blackened. There were numerous lacerations, cuts, scrapes, drag marks.
Cuts, scrapes, and drag marks covered her body. It was clear someone wanted to hurt her, and they had, badly.
If we can use flags to mark evidence, that would be great. I'm just making a suggestion of working here out where we first saw that first spot and just kind of get the flood, and that way we can mark them as we find them.
I knew it was going to come to this, just didn't know where.
But for all the horror at the scene, the detectives hit another wall. No murder weapon, no footprints, nothing that pointed clearly to who had done this or why. They had a body now, but what they didn't have was a killer. They knew someone had done this with purpose, someone close, someone who knew where to leave her, who knew how to avoid being seen. But the longer they waited, the colder the trail grew. The killer was still out there, and they were already slipping through the cracks. And that's when a woman's tip gave investigators their first real lead in weeks.
We had a female come into the office that had felt like she had some information about a gentleman that had been at her apartment.
One that finally broke the silence around Danielle's last known hours. She said a man was at her apartment the day Danielle went missing, and what led her to come forward was his suspicious behavior. The detectives quickly began connecting dots.
And this is on Friday evening?
Yeah, Friday evening. So you were
Are you
there
sure it was on
about
Friday evening?
No. Wait a second. Was it Thursday, the day the girl went missing?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Thursday at 7. He was there about 7. He left about 9 o'clock.
Okay. Was he by himself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You remember what he was wearing?
Blue jeans and a white tank top.
The detectives wanted to know what happened inside the apartment.
Did she give him any?
No, she said that she didn't probably have one that would fit him, but she said even if it was dirty. So she said that it didn't matter. So she never gave him one.
The man came there asking for a shirt. She didn't really know the man all too well. The man had shown up at the woman's apartment around 7 p.m. on the same night Danielle vanished, stayed for a couple hours, then left without explanation. That alone wasn't damning. It was what he said before leaving that shook the detectives.
I think he said, if anybody asked, I was here at your house at 2 o'clock, since 2 o'clock. When he left, and that's the last thing he said. He said, if anybody asked, he said, I've been here at your house since 2 o'clock.
He came to the house at 7 p.m. Why would he say that? Why lie about the time? And more importantly, why would he assume someone would ask about his whereabouts unless he had something to hide? What began as a missing persons case had grown into something else. The detectives had been looking in the wrong direction for weeks, but now, with this woman's account, they had a thread to pull, and they weren't letting go. After that game-changing interview, officers offered to drive her home. But what should have been a quick drop-off turned into something else entirely.
While taking her home, the female provided us additional information that she forgot to tell that she felt like it was important.
Midway through the ride, she suddenly remembered something, another strange moment that had slipped her mind.
So,
Tell me about it.
Okay, well, it was before that. We was coming down the highway. So he looks in his rear view and he sees a cop. And it's like, it's a way distance. It wasn't bothering us. We was, it was way back there. So he starts tripping and he's like, I got to get off the highway. I got to get off the highway. And we had just turned, like, in the middle of the curve. And he's like, throw these out. And I was like, what? What? And, like, he just said, throw them out.
The man had come back the next day. This time, he asked her to do him a favor, took her for a drive. And that's when things got even weirder. But who was this elusive man? Well, that answer came from the woman too. It was Sean Wakefield. Sean wasn't a name that had surfaced before. He had slipped under the radar while attention stayed fixed on Chris. But now, between the woman's unnerving story, his suspicious behavior, and his clothes tossed along the highway, Sean Wakefield had become impossible to ignore. But right now, the detectives were more focused on his clothes.
Was they in a bag?
No, they was just balled up. I was just looking straight, and he was driving and just reached in between his seats. So I'm guessing I didn't see anything in the back seat. So I'm guessing they might have been under his seat, under the back seat. And I didn't even know this girl was dead. Didn't know, like, y'all hadn't even found her car yet. So I just thought, of course it was weird, but, I just threw him out. I wasn't thinking, at this time I didn't know I still don't know if he did it. But I just threw him out.
Instead of heading straight to her place, the detective made a detour, back to the spot where she said she tossed the clothes. And sure enough, there they were, still lying there like the day they were thrown out. His jeans, a hoodie, and a single sock. But what stopped them cold was the dark stain on the jeans. It looked a lot like blood.
We get there and we find Sean's clothes of the exit that she states that she threw them out at. We were very lucky to be able to find these clothes and get them as quickly as we did once we learned of this information. We recovered Sean's jeans, his pullover shirt, and a sock. Once we discovered the clothes, we noticed some types of red stain that was on the clothes. It was a good indication that it was blood.
Sean Wakefield is a convicted felon with burglary, theft, and gun charges. Sean wasn't new to trouble. He was already on probation when all this happened, which made the timing feel a little too perfect. And now, sitting in county jail, his past wasn't just catching up with him. It was about to blow the whole case wide open.
At this point, we wanted to question Sean because we believe Sean was a possible suspect.
The detectives pulled Sean's records, checked his previous addresses, tracked down anyone who had seen him in the days before and after Danielle went missing. It turned out Sean had a pattern. He moved often, kept a low profile, and never stayed in one place long. With Chris no longer in their sights and Sean now front and center, the detectives had a fresh path to follow. The question now was no longer who. They believed they had that answer. The next question was why. Why Danielle? Why that night? And to answer all that, Sean Wakefield was brought in for an interview, and he came prepared with an attorney present.
Sean, what I was going to do is I'm going to ask you to, if you would, just kind of tell me about your day yesterday, from the time you woke up. About what time did you wake up yesterday morning?
10.
What'd you do when you got up?
Went outside and started the car.
Went outside and started which car?
My truck.
Which truck is that?
2003 Yukon.
What color is that Yukon?
Tan.
You started it. Where did you end up going?
Went to Tim's Auto Repair, right on 460, to get a quote on some brakes.
Oh, what time were you there?
I would say about 11.
Did you stop anywhere else in between your house and Tim's?
No, I did not.
At first, his answers felt rehearsed, short, careful, like he'd practiced them. But the moment the questions shifted to where he was when Danielle vanished, things got shaky.
When I questioned Sean regarding his activities the day of Danielle's disappearance, he was very specific initially, and he had large gaps in his story around the time that we believe Danielle was murdered.
His details got fuzzy. He hesitated. It didn't take long to see he wasn't telling the whole truth.
I came back to Tazewell. That's when I came back to Tazewell.
Did you travel 460 all the way?
Yeah, I think 460.
Where'd you go from there?
Went to Tazewell Square.
Okay. Where'd you go up there?
Sitting up there with a friend of mine. And her and I was kicking it on the parking lot. And then the girl that went...
Female friend?
Yeah, female friend.
You don't want to say her name? Okay. About what time would you say that was when you left out of there?
It was probably around close to 3.
The gaps in Sean Wakefield's timeline weren't just suspicious. They were surgical. The hours he skipped over, the vague references to unnamed friends, the carefully crafted stops and starts. It all smelled like a story stitched together just enough to keep suspicion at bay.
While I'm questioning Sean, I'm analyzing his body movement, I'm looking at his eye movement, and I can tell immediately that he's not being truthful, that he's aloof.
So, after you leave Tazewell Square, where do you go?
I go home.
You go straight home? Don't stop anywhere?
But the detectives had heard enough.
I'm sure you've heard that old adage, honesty is the best policy, right? So, my question to you is, when are you going to be honest and start giving me the truth about what's going on? Because, quite honestly, you're leaving stuff out. You're leaving big gaps here. I mean,
at this point, I'm...
His nervous glances, his deflections, and now the lawyer cutting off the interview before it could go any deeper. It all pointed to one thing: guilt. The investigators had followed the clues they thought made sense, and for a time, they'd chased the wrong man. But finally, after weeks of confusion, truth had started to shine through the cracks.
Being able to establish that he still had his ankle bracelet on was very important to this case. And through the use of GPS monitoring, we were able to track Sean's movement everywhere he had gone.
And at the center of it all, now, was Sean Wakefield. For weeks, the investigation had stalled again. Despite the bloodstained clothes, the suspicious behavior, and the gaps in Sean Wakefield's story, nothing had been solid enough to stick. The DNA test results from the lab still hadn't come back, and without them, the bloodstains alone wouldn't hold up in court. It was all still considered circumstantial, and they couldn't afford another misstep. But then came the ankle monitor data. Since he was out on probation, he had an ankle monitor on. That GPS trail turned out to be gold.
We were able to identify businesses and residents and different locations that had cameras, and that was going to provide significant evidence should this case go to trial.
Sean's movements were tracked down to the second, and they told a story he had tried so hard to bury. They tracked his movement to the Grant Park body shop where Danielle's car was found. Sean picked that body shop for a reason. He knew they didn't have any cameras. What he didn't count on was the construction site right next door. They did.
When we find this video footage, we are thinking this is it. This is the moment that we're looking at our suspect.
And now the detectives were heading over, hoping the cameras caught what he thought no one would see. Turns out they do have a camera facing the body shop.
What's that, man?
Morning, sir.
Pretty good. My hands are dirty.
Don't worry about it.
What happened, or can you say?
I can't really tell you much. I'm looking for a vehicle or anybody walking.
All right, yeah, I think you're right quick.
Same old, same old.
3:17, 2 o'clock.
If y'all don't mind, I'll sit here and click it.
The CCTV showed Danielle's car pulled in to the parking lot, followed by Sean's truck. There was no logical reason for him to be there. No stops, no phone calls, just a strange detour to a dead zone in the middle of nowhere. The CCTV footage was grainy but clear enough. Danielle's car pulled in first. Then Sean's vehicle followed right behind. Seconds later, her silhouette appeared, but then her body jolted. It was at this moment Sean attacked her. Then his vehicle slowly pulled away. There was more. Sean walking back to the scene, alone. And shortly after that, Danielle's car leaving. The final blow came from traffic footage miles away. Danielle's car was caught on a city camera, but behind the wheel wasn't Danielle. It was Sean. The timestamp matched perfectly with the GPS data on his ankle monitor. After weeks, the detectives finally had what they needed: proof. And just when they thought they couldn't find more evidence, the DNA test result came back. They found both Sean's DNA and Danielle's DNA on his discarded clothes. It was time to charge him with Danielle Pruett's murder. But what if he finally confessed? That thought pushed detectives to bring him in one more time. This time they laid it all out: the GPS data, the surveillance footage, the clothes, everything. He was given a chance to come clean, and at first it seemed like he might. He admitted he knew Danielle, said they met around 3 p.m. that day.
Had you bought drugs from Danielle before?
Yeah, previous occasions, yeah.
You know what time you called Danielle?
I called her at 3:15. I told her, buddy of mine's trying to get some. When we got up there to the area, I called her. I said, look, do you want me to come to your house? And she said, no, meet me on the next street over by the graveyard. Like,
now, did you actually meet her?
No, I never seen her.
He gave up a small truth, but not the whole story. Not even close.
Do you know where Danielle is right now?
No, I do not.
Did you have anything to do with her disappearance?
No, I do not.
Have you put your hands on Danielle with the intent to cause bodily harm?
No.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
This wasn't just about poking holes in Sean's story anymore. This was about justice. For Danielle, for her family, for her kids.
At this point, even without Sean's confession, we were very certain that Sean is our person.
And they were ready to take the next step. The truth was no longer hiding. It was sitting right in front of them, with nothing left to say. Detectives believed Danielle had met Sean that day with the intent to sell him an 8-ball of coke. It was supposed to be a quick exchange, but Sean never planned to pay her. He was there to rob her, and when she resisted, when she fought back, he did the one thing that would guarantee his escape. He killed her. Danielle didn't go down without a fight. That much was clear. The trauma to her body told the story of someone who refused to be a victim. She tried to survive, but the brutal truth was she never stood a chance against a man like Sean Wakefield. In the end, detectives charged him with first-degree murder, and after nearly 2 years of watching the evidence pile up against him, video, DNA, GPS, lies upon lies, Sean finally gave up. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 57 years in prison. Just days before he was scheduled to be formally sentenced, another twist came out of nowhere. In November of 2019, the Tazewell County Sheriff announced that Sean had died in custody after a sudden illness. The exact cause was never revealed. It was a quiet end to a violent story. In the end, the case of Danielle Pruett wasn't just about finding the killer. It was about the relentless pursuit of truth in a world full of distractions and dead ends. Even with every twist, every false lead, and every wrong turn, they never stopped. When justice is pursued with determination, even the most twisted of stories will eventually come to light. If you've been hooked by this case, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the next story we dive into could be the one that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Your thoughts could be the key to unraveling the next mystery. Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and always question what you see.